For a long time, I chose to remain silent. But there comes a point when silence is no longer prudence. I did not hide, I did not run. I did not evade scrutiny. I am ready to defend my name.
Tonight's top stories. Late 1st District Representative Martin Romualdez denies involvement in flood control project anomalies, authorizing the public release of his affidavit.
Diesel prices in some gas stations drop below 100 pesos per liter as big-time rollback takes effect.
President Marcos Jr. orders the continuous entry of oil supply into the country.
And U.S. pushes for peace talks as Iran truce deadline nears. All these and more, here on 13 News.
Good evening, I am William Thio. We are bringing you the day's top stories that shape the country, straightforward, clear, and concise.
I'm Angela C. Under one flag with 3 mandates to inform, explain, and empower the nation. This is
13 News. We begin tonight's newscast with former House Speaker Martin Romualdez strongly rejecting allegations, branding him as the mastermind of budget corruption.
He said his earlier silence was out of respect for due process, but insisted he can no longer let accusations run wild and unchecked. We go live now to IBC News correspondent Earl Tobias via phone patch. Earl, what else did Romualdez say?
Yes, William, Angela, good evening. Former House Speaker Martin Romualdez called out the allegations against him as absurd, particularly the allegation referring to him as the mastermind of budget corruption. In his video statement, Romualdez said he practiced restraint on calling out these wrongful allegations as he respected the legal process and the participation that was demanded from him. However, the lawmaker deemed it necessary to publicly address these false narratives, as he said that these twisted narratives against him are getting overly weaponized.
My silence has been abused and weaponized, so let me be clear. I will not keep quiet anymore.
With this, the former House Speaker comes forward with a firm question, which he claims can easily break the twisted narrative of him being the flood control budget corruption mastermind.
How can I be the mastermind? I was the former Speaker of the House of Representatives, but the House of Representatives is only one part of the branch of government, the legislature. The national budget is not conceived, executed, implemented, bidded out, supervised, and completed by one congressman or even by Congress alone, and certainly not by the Speaker of the House.
Romualdez also called upon both the authorities and the public to scrutinize his affidavits, documents, and the list of all projects done in his district in Tacloban City, which he said he will all publicly release starting today.
If I were truly involved in a fraudulent scheme of this nature, then the first place one would expect to see that pattern would be in my own district. But I say this with absolute certainty. You won't see it in my district. My district has 0 ghost and 0 substandard flood control projects. 0. And that is verifiable.
William, alongside these defenses, Romualdez clarified that he understands the anger of the public and the loud call for accountability. But he remained firm that putting him in the center of a widespread corruption is deliberate political engineering against him. Romualdez said he will continue to submit himself to the legal process while he ended his statement with a sign of caution.
I am ready to defend my name. My silence should not be mistaken for weakness, ignorance, or fear. I know enough to defend myself, and if I am forced to do so in public, I will.
William, Angela, as of now, we are yet to know what could stem out tomorrow from this first and direct public denial of former House Speaker Romualdez against the allegations thrown against him. Meanwhile, his camp reassures that the former Speaker will be fully cooperative if ever an actual formal case will be filed against Romualdez. That's all for now, William.
Thank you, Earl Tobias, reporting live. Meanwhile, the government is treading carefully in releasing information about the arrest of former Representative Zaldy Co, citing the involvement of another country in the case. Malacanang addressed questions over the absence of Co's photos while in custody in the Czech Republic, emphasizing the need for diplomatic caution. The palace assured that Co's safety will be secured once he is returned to the Philippines amid reports of alleged death threats linked to his possible testimony on anomalous flood control projects. However, officials say these threats must first be verified before any conclusions are made. Meanwhile, the Department of Justice, or DOJ, is exploring deportation and other legal options to expedite Co's return following President Marcos Jr.'s directive to coordinate with Czech authorities, after which multiple arrest warrants from the Sandigan Bayan will be served.
Saan nanggagaling yung sinasabing death threats? Meron na po bang naipakita? Meron na po bang na-blotter or whatever? But nevertheless, the government will always assure the safety and that the needed protection to be given to Zaldy Co.
In fact, the President has mandated me to form a team. Actually, I will be heading a team. I'll be leaving. Naayos lang yung mga visa requirements sa akin and everything. And the intention is to be able to meet with the Czech authorities.
In other news, 2 sets of peace talks are scheduled this week. The second round of negotiations between the U.S. and Iran will be held in Islamabad, while Israel and Lebanon's talks will take place in Washington. CJ Reyes reports.
As the U.S.-Iran ceasefire nears its expiry, a second round of negotiations is set this week in Pakistan. Islamabad has tightened security with checkpoints and road closures to ensure safe passage of delegates. The U.S. remains optimistic about progress, with Vice President J.D. Vance leading its delegation. Iran, however, remains uncertain about its participation, with officials saying Tehran has no plans for further talks. Iran's reluctance follows a naval standoff between the U.S. Navy and an Iranian cargo ship that led to the U.S. seizement of the ship, an act Iran calls a ceasefire violation. U.S. President Donald Trump, meanwhile, says Iran deal would ensure peace, security, and safety beyond the Middle East. As for Iran and Lebanon, the second round of talks is also scheduled this week in Washington, D.C., marking their first direct engagement since the ceasefire began. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu faces renewed legal pressure as Hungary's new leader Peter Magyar warns he could be arrested if he enters the country, citing an International Criminal Court warrant. CJ Reyes, IBC News.
Fuel prices are finally easing off, with sharp rollbacks offering motorists a much-needed breather after weeks of record highs. But while relief is in sight, illegal fuel schemes continue. IBC News correspondent Alyssa Insigne tells us more.
Fuel prices are dropping further, bringing relief after a month of soaring costs that breached 100 pesos per liter. In this gasoline station in Quezon City, diesel prices have now fallen below that mark, going as low as 94 pesos per liter. Motorists are hopeful the downward trend in fuel prices will continue.
Mas okay na. Sana magtuloy-tuloy na yung pagbaba ng gasolina.
Kumikita na ulit kahit pa paano. Sana magtuloy-tuloy na yung pagbaba ng gasolina.
Today, oil companies implemented a rollback of 2 pesos and 94 centavos per diesel, 3 pesos and 41 centavos for gasoline, and 2 pesos for kerosene. These rollbacks come after the Department of Energy ordered price controls under a declared national energy emergency. Oil companies are required to comply or face possible criminal charges and imprisonment for violations. Meanwhile, the DOE announced the arrival of the third and fourth diesel shipments, totaling 650,000 barrels scheduled for today and April 24. Despite government efforts to stabilize supply, some individuals continue to exploit the situation. 6 suspects were arrested by the Philippine National Police Highway Patrol Group for an illegal fuel siphoning scheme known as PAIHI. Authorities caught them transferring gasoline into containers and later discovered they were mixing methanol with fuel to increase volume for resale. Recovered items included 10,000 liters of petroleum products, 10,000 liters of methanol, and equipment worth an estimated 8.9 million pesos.
Through this kind of mix po, no, ay ibinebenta po sa mga markets. Ito po ay dinideliver sa mga private trucking services na namamahalan sa bilihin po ng petrolyo ngayon.
The suspects now face serious charges and remain in police custody. Eliza Insigne, IBC News.
With energy security on steady ground, the Marcos Jr. administration is speeding up programs meant to cushion Filipinos from fuel and transport pressures. From oil supply boosts to cash aid and faster logistics, the government is all hands on deck to keep the country moving. The full details from IBC News correspondent Harley Valbuena.
At the 4th meeting of the Uplift Committee, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. directed the Department of Energy to ensure the continuous entry of oil supply into the country.
Thio po ng Pangulo ang stagnation. Nagkakaroon na po ng inflation, kaya kinakailangan po na ang supply ng krudo ay manatili at tuloy-tuloy sa ating bansa.
The committee reported a 52-day oil supply. 471,000 barrels has already arrived, while procurement of additional 2 million barrels has been secured. The government is also fast-tracking 22 renewable energy projects. Nearly 1 million PUV drivers have received 5,000 pesos in cash aid under the DSWD's AIX program. Fuel subsidies have also been distributed to more than 373 beneficiaries. The president also ordered a swift shift to digital systems for faster and smoother aid distribution. The palace meanwhile urged TNVS drivers to verify if their operators have submitted proper lists to qualify for assistance.
Tapikin niyo po mismo yung namumuno sa inyong TNVS dahil baka sila mismo ang nanloloko sa gobyerno.
At the same time, Malacanang is expediting the accreditation of trucks delivering food and agricultural goods to grant them free toll and port fees to speed up deliveries, cut transport costs, and keep food prices low. As of now, nearly 1,200 trucks are accredited under the Food Lane program with a target of more than 3,000 trucks. Transport groups are backing all of the government's measures, along with support from the Department of Transportation to ease the impact of high fuel prices.
Talagang ginagawa nila lahat ang magagawa dahil na po itong krisis na ito hanggang ngayon dama pa rin po ng ating mga driver at operator.
Harley Valbuena, IBC News.
Amid rising fuel prices, demand for electric vehicles is surging while sales of fuel-powered vehicles are showing signs of a slowdown. Data shows that about 6,148 units were sold in March 2026, up 48.5% from 3,054 units sold in February. The EV surge is also evident in year-on-year figures, with about 11,800 units sold in the first quarter of 2026, a 36.2% increase from the same period last year. Rising oil prices surely inspire Filipino motorists to consider EVs as a cost-friendly alternative, contributing to a 10% decline in sales of fuel-powered vehicles. Up next, ICC set to rule on former President Duterte's jurisdiction appeal. More stories coming when we return. This is 13 News.
Bagong Pilipinas. Mahalaga ang kapakanan ng bawat isa. Lahat ng aspeto ng lipunan pinagtutuunan ng pansin ng pamahalaan at ni Pangulong Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. Bagong Pilipinas, PBBM, Lingkod ng Bayan. Tuwing Linggo, alas 8:30 ng umaga.
The International Criminal Court Appeals Chamber is set to rule on former President Rodrigo Duterte's appeal on jurisdiction. Tomorrow, Duterte filed the appeal last year against the ICC pre-trial, rejecting the defense's challenge to the court's jurisdiction. The pre-trial judges ruled that the ICC retains authority over alleged crimes against humanity committed in the Philippines before the country withdrew in the year 2019. If the court upholds its jurisdiction, the case will proceed. The 5-member appeals chamber will deliver its judgment in an open court at 5 p.m. Manila time in The Hague. Meanwhile, the House Justice Panel has received from the Ombudsman the Statement of Assets, Liabilities, and Net Worth, or SALN, of Vice President Sara Duterte for 2022 to 2024 as part of its ongoing review of impeachment complaints. The committee also issued subpoenas to former Senator Antonio Trillanes and the Anti-Money Laundering Council to present documents, while the Securities and Exchange Commission has submitted records of corporations linked to VP Sara. All documents will be examined in the second clarificatory hearing as the panel targets a vote on probable cause by April 29. Meanwhile, Senate President Tito Soto assured that the Senate rules compel attendance or penalize absences. Any formal action on the matter could take time. De La Rosa's camp has yet to issue a response. This immediately impeachment court, which hearings will be held on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
A senator has called on Senator Bato de la Rosa, who remains absent from sessions, to voluntarily decline receiving his salary and allowances. According to Senate Committee on Ethics Chairperson J.V. Ejercito, like ordinary Filipinos who follow a no work, no pay principle, public officials should be held to the same standard. Ejercito said that while there are currently no Senate rules that compel attendance or penalize absences, any formal action on the matter could take time. De La Rosa's camp has yet to issue a response.
The Department of Migrant Workers has vowed to ensure justice for the victims of 2 overseas Filipino workers who were killed and held hostage in Beirut, Lebanon last April 15. The victims, both longtime domestic helpers in the residence, were fatally shot during the incident. The employer has been arrested and is now under police custody pending formal charges. The agency said it is closely coordinating with authorities abroad alongside the Philippine Embassy in Lebanon to monitor the investigation. In the meantime, repatriation efforts and government assistance are extended to the bereaved families.
Apple has announced that CEO Tim Cook will step down as chief executive after 15 years in the role. The tech giant said its long-serving chief, who took over after Steve Jobs, will leave the post by September 1 and transition to the role of executive chairman. John Ternus, Apple's current vice president for hardware engineering, has been named as his next successor. He is known for playing a key role in the revival of Mac and the launch of some of Apple's biggest products, including iPads and AirPods. As the new head, Ternus said he aims to pursue innovating new designs and technologies. Meanwhile, American singer David has pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder and other charges linked to the death of a 14-year-old girl. The singer was formally arraigned at a Los Angeles court on Monday, facing charges including murder, sexual offenses, and unlawful mutilation of human remains. David's legal team has denied all wrongdoings, with new evidence to be presented on Thursday's preliminary hearing. If convicted, the singer will face life in prison or possible death penalty.
Filipino tennis ace Alex Ayala once again represented the Philippines, this time at the 2026 Laureus World Sports in Madrid, Spain. Dubbed as the Oscars for sports, the event brings together some of the world's greatest athletes, where Ayala stood out wearing a Filipiniana made by her uncle, renowned fashion designer Rhett Ayala. Following her appearance at the awards, Ayala will return to the tennis competition with her first round match at the Madrid Open tomorrow.
Today, the country's heat index continues to soar hot, with Apari, Cagayan, and San Jose, Occidental Mindoro hitting 42 degrees Celsius, while Borongan, Eastern Samar, Zamboanga City, and Cotabato City reaching 41 degrees Celsius. According to Pag-asa, values between 42 and 51 degrees fall under the danger category, where the risk of heat exhaustion and heat stroke is high. Residents are advised to limit outdoor activities, stay hydrated, and seek shade wherever possible. Pag-asa also said there are currently no low-pressure areas being monitored inside or outside the Philippine Area of Responsibility tonight. Coming up next, shootout in Brazil traps 200 tourists on a hilltop. We have more news updates when we return. This is 13 News.
Mula sa mga proyektong pang-infrastruktura, serbisyong pangkalusugan, edukasyon at kabuhayan. Subaybayan ang mga kalihim ng pamahalaan na patuloy na kumikilos, naglilingkod at nagtutulungan para sa kaunlaran ng bansa, katuwang ni Pangulong Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. kasama si Greg Gregorio. Cabinet at Work, Martes, alas 8 ng umaga.
Para sa pag-isipin ng party.
Ako po si Earl Tobias ng IPC 13, ang maghahatid sa inyo ng balita mula dito mismo sa loob ng Kamara.
Mapanuri sa bawat usapin.
Siniutis din ang Committee on Appropriations sa PCSO.
Isang tinig na maaasahan.
Nasa 1 milyong magsasaka ang makatatanggap ng
Maagap. Earl Tobias, ang inyong tagapaghatid ng balita mula sa Kongreso. Mas pinalakas, mas pinalawak na pagbabalita. Ito ang IBC News.
Welcome back to the program. A gunman opened fire multiple times at a UNESCO World Heritage Site in Mexico, leaving 1 person dead and 13 injured. The shooting occurred at the Thio Pyramids, where a 32-year-old Canadian woman was fatally shot. The injured included 2 Colombians, a Russian, and a Canadian. A witness also saw a boy being shot in the leg. The gunman shot himself shortly after the attack. More than 200 tourists got trapped during a sightseeing up a mountain in Rio de Janeiro after police got into a shootout with drug gang members. Shots were fired between the local police and a Brazilian drug trafficking organization. They pursued the suspected leader, who was able to escape. The tourists were eventually escorted down to safety by authorities with no casualties recorded.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has extended his congratulations to Thailand's new Prime Minister, Anutin Charnvirakul. The president said Anutin's re-election reflects the strong trust of the Thai people in his leadership and vision. He also expressed his intention to work closely with the Royal Thai government to strengthen cooperation on energy, food security, and regional stability. He emphasized the importance of collaboration within ASEAN to combat transnational crime and ensure lasting peace, growth, and opportunity in the region. And here are the results of the 9 p.m. draws from the PCSO. For the Lotto 642, the winning numbers are 22, 4, 33, 11, 9, and 15 with a jackpot price of 17,860,503 pesos and 83 centavos. For the Super Lotto 649, the winning combination is 45, 10, 36, 43, 13, and 19 with a jackpot price of 25 million pesos. For the Ultra Lotto 658, the winning combination is 58, 34, 43, 5, 40, and 3 with a jackpot prize of 75 million pesos. For the 60 Lotto, the winning combination in exact order is 1, 5, 9, 8, 0, and 2. For the 3D Lotto, the winning numbers are 9, 1, and 6. And finally, for the 2D Lotto draw, the winning numbers are 15 and 1. There are no winners for the Lotto 642, Super Lotto 649, and Ultra Lotto 658. Tomorrow, the 22nd of April, the Duterte family will be at the center of 2 major developments. At 10 a.m., the House will hold a hearing on impeachment complaints against Vice President Sara Duterte, focusing on allegations of unexplained wealth. Meanwhile, at 5 p.m., the International Criminal Court is expected to issue its ruling on the jurisdiction appeal of former President Rodrigo Duterte over crimes against humanity, though Duterte is expected to skip the proceedings.
Also tomorrow marks the World Earth Day, promoting environmental protection, raising awareness about pollution, climate, and conservation. This annual event serves as a reminder to protect natural resources and foster a deeper connection with nature. To think, William, we had just celebrated Earth Hour and now there's Earth Day.
Yes, and it's important, to take care of our environment, because I always say, whatever nationality you are, whatever age you are, or whatever it is that you believe in, we share one world. So whatever it is that we do is actually connected to each other. So it starts with ourselves before we can go further.
And it's nice to be able to have an environment that we can essentially pass down to the next generation.
Yes, and of course, we will reap the benefits as well.
All of us will.
Yes, and those were the latest from the IBC Newsroom this evening.
We'll continue to monitor the stories that matter and bring you updates as they develop. I'm Angela C.
And I'm William Thio. This is 30 News. Good night, everyone.